Amethyst.
Oh, she thinks, hey,
Yeah.
everybody. Well, you're seeing us now, everybody. Chapt and I are here. Sorry, we're a few minutes late. I've been running all over hell today, so we are running behind. We're going to play this intro, and we are going to get into what is going on, and we are going to, Chapt is going to give us an update. For those of you that don't know, I will share the links to her when she's told the story before. She is going to give a little recap of her story, what is going on, kind of catch you guys up. But I will also share the links for the videos that we did previously, so you guys can go over and watch those if you would like to. Tissues are probably needed if you are in that space today, because this is a very heavy trigger warning needed update. So we're going to play this intro and we'll be right back. Hey, everybody. I'm going to run through and say just a quick hello. Hey, Am's at work, so she can't really be here with us, but she was sending all of her love. Hey, that Ellen, Dazed and Amazed, Janice in the County, Muddy Puddles, Pika, Void here. I'm never going to get that right. Chico, Forever Army, Aries, Electro, Rocky X. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Lip locked. Look at you setting your camera all nice and.
It's because I keep looking away when I'm looking at chat next to me.
Oh, that's right. You do it on two different.
Yeah, so then I'm like this, and I'm not. Yeah, anyway.
I do the same thing. I'm always like, that's why it's easier just to turn the camera off when I'm outside. I cheat. Hey, Cranky. Hey, Rondi, Peanut Shell. Okay. Hey, Emily. True Wrecking Crime. Sheila, Cotton Candy. Alma. Yep. All right. You guys want to take it away and tell us what. So for those of you guys that didn't know, we have discussed Chapt's her story previously on this channel. I'm going to share those links in the comment section below. If you would like to go watch those more in depth, you can. She's going to give a quick overview of some of like what's going on and where we are today, just so you will be catching up now. But if you want to see like the full story previously, I'll share those. Go ahead, my friend.
Okay. So in 1992, January 4th, to be exact, in the middle of the night, I was, they don't call it kidnapping because he forced me to drive, but nonetheless, driven out of town, and for 2.5 hours, I was raped and tortured. I count my blessings that I was driving a 5-speed manual car, and he could not drive it. So he allowed me to drive him back into town. I got him out of the car. I drove across town in the oncoming lane, finding an officer, and instantly reported it. I went through the gamut, did the right thing. I even went public. I talked to high schools for people who grew up in small, rural South Dakota, Minnesota towns like I did, and we trust everybody. And when somebody needs help, you just do it. went on this big roll. Well, he ended up escaping. We got a conviction. It was less than a month after his conviction, he got a furlough, and he escaped from the 2 officers that were transporting him across the state for the funeral. He was on the run for almost 2 years. It was like 1 year and 10 months. They finally found him, and they found him 3 days before I was supposed to be aired on America's Most Wanted. Sorry. It's gonna be harder than I thought this time. So he got 104 or 107 years. And then after his escape, we had to go through another trial. So they changed a venue, went to Watertown and did a second trial and convicted him again. And he got 114 years because they added for the escape. Many, 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 many years later. I think it's been 8 now. No, I lied. It's been 7. This will be the 8th year, 2025. I started having to go to parole hearings every 8 months. And this year has been phenomenally hard. 3 years ago, a lady came out of the woodwork and got in touch with me, and we went through her story, and she was actually this guy's very first victim, we believe. She was 7 and he was 17. And by the time he assaulted and tortured me, he was like 38, 39. We've tried to find other victims. People won't come out of the woodwork because his family is very high up the tree on his tribal land. Like, one's a federal officer in the tribe, like not chief, but somewhere in that top realm.
Yeah,
People just won't go up against him. So in April, we had our every 8-month hearing, and the other victim and I, we went to the hearing, and they decided to give him a second bite at the apple 30 days later. They couldn't decide whether they wanted to let this guy out or not. So 30 days later, we went back to the parole hearing again. More time off work, more chaos, more swimming in a black abyss of holy shitness. We were able to get a denial, but 2.5 weeks later, she had a stroke. She can't participate anymore. I won't let her. I'm not going to let him take her life after she survived her ordeal with him. So I'm on my own again, fighting by myself. So that was in April. I just had an 8-month hearing on January 6th. January 4th is the anniversary of when he did this to me. So it was 2 days after my survival date, which made it harder. It might sound stupid, but it made it harder.
It doesn't sound stupid at all. It doesn't sound stupid at all. Please don't say that.
And
You're so incredibly strong.
They called me the day after the hearing and said they're giving him another chance. So I have to go February 12th again now. That's 4 shots at parole since April of 2024.
For under a year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not even quite 10 months.
No.
And so I'm a basket case. It's negative 30 degrees here on a daily basis, so I can't even go outside and work out my aggressions outside. I'm struggling. And so when you guys see me in the chat, and I might say, hey, I'm hiding today. Love you all. Thanks for coming. Hit the thumbs up. That's pretty much all you're going to get out of me for a while. And that's why I'm not online, is I'm highly absorbed in what I'm focused on, which is
No, you
keeping
don't
this
need
son of a bitch in jail.
where he should be.
Yeah. And the other kicker is if you look up online, Mike Durfee State Prison in South Dakota, they had 2 riots this last year. He was involved in the second one in July, and he has yet to be arraigned on those charges.
And they're
They
thinking
moved
about
him back to maximum in Sioux Falls, but he hasn't been arraigned on those charges yet. So he could potentially get out, even though he helped with this riot 6 months ago. I don't know what the hell these people are thinking, but he did bring his brother, who, like I said, his family is very high up in the tribe. And he brought his niece, who wasn't even born when he was in jail. So she doesn't even know him, except for through the glass. And they literally turned it into bashing the victim, because that's fun. Let's debate the case all over again, even though you've been convicted of twice by 2 different juries in 2 different cities. But no, let's continue to say that it wasn't that bad. You didn't have the shit beat out of you, so I don't know how you can say he tortured you. He stuck his fist in my rectum.
Can
That is
you
torture. But they got to say his wife, who,
yeah,
funny,
that's what I was just gonna ask. Can you explain that too?
yeah. So his wife goes to these hearings, and on his behalf, they've only been married for 7 years.
Since he's been in prison, they married.
Oh yeah, they got married in prison. Here's the kicker.
Yeah.
She was married. Her ex-husband was this asshole's lawyer for my trial.
His defense attorney's ex-wife is who he married.
Is who he married. This woman is, I don't know whether to feel sorry for her because she obviously thinks she deserves this kind of a man, or whether to slap the shit out of her because she is the one who looked up my private information through her work. She was able to find my medical info, and she not only accessed it, but looked up my insurance, which tells you who I work for, where they're out of, and my emergency contact, to the point where the DA bought cameras for my entire house on their dime. To the point where I had to go to my local sheriff's or police station and have a sit down with the chief about getting patrol. So there's just so many things. But now they have my address. She's a huge advocate of bashing me. And the last couple of times that we've gone, the parole board members don't even stop her. They just let her say whatever she wants for 2 minutes. And so they bring in 4 people. So they get a total of 8 to 10 minutes, and I get 2 to say my piece. I don't know what's going on with the parole board, but I do keep track of who the people are, because if they decide to let him out, I will be writing some letters, and I may be going after them because I'm going to have to move. I'm not going to have a choice. And because I'm a seasonal worker and I work 90 hours a week, no joke.
No joke.
I can't move during that time.
Yeah.
Unless I give up my job for a while. Well, that's the way I support myself year round.
Right.
I stay and hibernate like a bear for 3.5 months every year, but I work my ass off the rest of it. So it's not like I can afford to lose that money either. I'm a single person. So anyway, okay,
stop. You're doing great. You are so incredibly brave, and I am so incredibly proud of you, because you have fought this battle for years and years and years. And I know this is a lot for you.
It is right now.
It is a lot for you. You have been really going through it really bad over the holidays and stuff. So
yeah, the holidays are hard for me anyway, because my only family is my adult son, and he lives 1,700 miles away.
Yeah. Well, and this is something that people don't realize affects entire families. Like, it affects your relationship with your loved ones. it affects, like, because this has been something that you've had to relive this. Like, it's not like you can just heal. Like, people always say, well, there's a path to healing. Well,
Right.
when the system is pulling you in every fucking couple months to re-victimize you, and then allowing,
Them
like,
to say whatever they want.
when we're talking about this guy was furloughed for a funeral. This guy escaped to go on when he was supposed to be going to a funeral. He escaped, and he used media to torment his victims while he was on the run. This
He
has
would
been
he would call
decades.
the Argus leader
Yeah.
and KSFY every week or so and do a little blurb that they would air repeatedly. Because I'd gone public to begin with, it was fair game. And he would threaten me over the air. And that was
And
part of how it got America's Most Wanted's attention.
yeah.
But one of their producers came across the story on a news clip. And they were like, how is he getting away with this? And I do want to say, though, that it's South Dakota. Emily, it's South Dakota. No one else going forward will have to do every 8 months.
From South Dakota. Yep.
Yep.
Another chapter.
We fixed that.
Yeah.
We fixed that.
You fixed that. You fixed that.
No, we as a group did, but
Well,
we fixed that. So now it'll be every 3 years. And on that parole hearing, if they do not get advanced from the preliminary to the full board, then they wait 3 more years. If they get to the full board, then they can have the 8 months if the board gives it to them. But they can delay it for up to 3 years. And it's automatically delayed for 3 years if they don't pass the preliminary. So we made some sacrifices, but shit, it's better than what I'm dealing with.
yeah.
And if even a third of the victims don't have to do this,
Yeah.
then that's a win right now.
You've
the
also
state
changed other things too in the past.
Yeah, the state funding that I finally reached out to after 32 years.
Yeah.
That is only there because when I was raped, there was no victims witness fund.
Right.
There wasn't one. Now there is. There's been one for the last 30 years. So,
for anybody coming in, you guys, I dropped a video in the comment section above if you're just coming in, or you can rewind. Chapt did open and give a little synopsis of what we're talking about. Chapt is a survivor, a fighter, an incredible voice. But this is a true outlook on how the system re-victimizes victims over and over again. And people don't really get a say in things. And she's given an update. We talked about this. It's been almost a year ago that we talked about it. And then she just had another parole hearing, and she's had 4.
No, 3. This will be
since
the 4th one. February 12th will be the 4th one in less than 10 months.
So, holy shit. Just to put that into perspective too, because Chapt and Am were both, like, a lot of you guys are familiar with Am's story too. They were both fighting parole boards at the same time. So, and Chapt gave a victim's impact statement during Am's too, which was incredibly brave and strong. Like, yeah, these women are incredible.
I want to, Aries, yes, I agree with you. This is how people end up in vigilante justice situations. And if my daddy were alive, maybe that would be where I would be, but he's not. But yes, I agree with you. A one-way street. There are some women's groups. It's not that I couldn't find support. It's that you got to understand, I've dealt with this for almost 33 years. And I can't open up. This is the most I've opened up in 33 years. And I work in a male dominated field, and I'm somewhere between the top and the bottom of the ladder. Let's just say that.
Just say
I
that.
have to command respect, and I can't weaponize them, if that makes sense. I mean, for all I know, somebody's in the chat and they're like, oh my gosh,
I know her.
you know. And it's not that I'm shameful of it anymore. I'm not afraid of it. My fear is that because they've done so much digging and because they continue to show so much angst and won't admit that he did this to me and that his wife is now an antagonist, that's where my fear comes from. I don't know if I fear his family more than I fear him. But it's more about the compounding of issues. It's not like that's my issue. It's just so many things. Going through the holidays alone as an empty nester is hard. And both my neighbors passed away last year. And within 3 months of each other. So I'm struggling with that. I'm struggling with the holidays. I'm struggling with everything.
You've had everything dumped on you so much.
And then I got stranded in my truck yesterday in negative 30-degree weather.
She's sending me pictures of her frozen outside.
Out in the wind and the ice. I'm sorry I'm missing so many comments, you guys.
No, you're okay. I'll try to catch some of them too.
Okay.
If you guys want to know more about her story, I really encourage you guys. I've been sharing the link to the previous video we did where she really goes in depth about her story and talks. Like, we're not going to go all the way into all of that. Not at this point in time. Maybe after this next parole hearing, if she wants to do a recap and where we're at, stuff like that. But this is about giving victims back their voices. This is what's important to me, is we are here to support and love on her. And if you want to know more about the actual, like, what happened, please go watch that first video. She went into in depth, like, and it's very hard to watch. So please be Chapt and Am both are. Am just popped into.
I see that.
They are two of the most amazing, strong individuals. And this is why it's not only important, like, when I think one thing, if not to take you off track here, but when we talk about victims and we talk about this, like, re-victimization of victims, you guys, it's so much further than what people realize on this platform. Victims' voices, media treated both of these women like shit. There was articles that were written. Some of them were great, and then other ones were terrible, re-victimizing the victim. But now you're seeing with the justice system, our own justice system, until we get laws changed to protect the victims, their stories, their dignity, we're going to be in this loop. And it happens in every state. There is things like this that happen with the parole. They're releasing habitual offenders one after another right now. It is mass release, unfortunately, in a lot of places, of the worst of the worst. Be aware of what's going on in your states.
Aries, thank you. You're sweet. Hello, Amethyst. Chico, I need your dogs. I need to borrow your dogs. If they get out, I'm parking your dogs out front. Somebody was asking about me moving to closer to where my son is. So luckily, my job has been supportive, and as long as I stay in the contiguous states, they don't care if I move. I can keep my job. There will be certain there will be certain issues that come with that, and financial burdens about having to return every spring for work. But those are the kind of sacrifices I'm willing to make. But no, I don't want to move closer to my son. They have his address because he's my emergency contact. I would never put him in that situation. I don't want to be, reasonable within the same state as my son, because that leads them right to him. There's no way I would put him. He's almost 30, and he is just partially through his life. He's in a stable relationship. He's got his own burdens that he carries. I'm not going to put him through that. No way.
Well, that's a huge part of you, though, the burden you like you if this is this is part of the whole process of you carrying on the guilt that you like I'm not going to get into, you know what I'm talking about. This
I
is
do.
part of, yeah.
I do. And you're right.
Yeah. You
Right.
felt like you guys, both of you have carried so much guilt about if I could do this differently, if I could have done this differently, I could have protected other people. I could have protected my family. I could have done this. I could have protected other victims. And no, it's not yours to carry.
Yeah.
But I understand also because you can't shut that off.
No, unfortunately, it's almost like embedded in your scars.
Yeah. Yeah. You are so incredibly strong though. Your strength honestly changed you two women changed everything for me. Seriously on this app, because when I say like you guys, people don't even understand. There are so many people like Am and Chapt that are being re-victimized by parole boards. That the offenders, even though they're behind bars, are able to re-victimize their victims. These things are happening over and over and over again. These people are being let out. These are habitual monsters who have, I mean, both of them received, they should have never seen the light of day. Sentences. Am's has been released. Chaps right now is behind bars, but we don't know what could come of that. And he was given, I mean, the man escaped after he was given a sentence. He escaped and used that time to torment his victims. And they even are giving him a parole hearing every couple months. How? It doesn't even make sense. But this is what's going on, and this is the reality of it.
Cash, that's very true. Thank you. NF Cat, you're sweet. Thank you. Thank you.
Anything we can do.
Yeah.
You're gonna slap me for even saying that.
That's okay. We travel on the same wavelength. I'm just sometimes lagging. I'm on a delay. So I don't usually write out what I'm going to present. I usually have an old picture of me from the age of when it happened. And I show them the difference in who I was and could have been to who I am now. And that I focus on the things I lost. And I focus on some of the medical issues I had because of it that I endure.
PTSD.
Yeah, that's one that I don't usually say because I would think that would be obvious. Talk to me for 5 minutes, you trust me. But I want to go a different direction because they brought in all of these federal tribal members. They're trying to turn it into a race thing because he's Native American. They are trying to say that even murderers get out after 15 or 20 years, and he's already served 33, and she lived, so what the hell? And so what they did was their tactic, the last 2 hearings, was for these federal members to bring in statistics. Yeah. And these tribal members don't come out and threaten the board, but they do. So much so that I've started recording my hearings because that's just not fair. It's not I didn't pick him. And it's not about it's not about race.
It's not at all.
If you go back to the archives and the newspapers, when they recaught him, the warden actually said, "This is one of the worst men I've ever had behind my bars. He doesn't deserve to get out."
They've previously tried to write articles about this man too and make him out to be a model prisoner and model inmate with drug rehab programs and stuff. I went through and read a lot of the documents, the charging documents, all of that stuff, and you don't apologize. Unfortunately, they're trying.
Yeah,
it's such a hard situation because
I didn't even I could not imagine that now that he got moved back to Max because he participated in this riot in July at Mike Durfee, I never imagined that the parole board would actually take this time to go, okay, sure, we'll give him one more shot.
Yeah.
You kidding? If there was ever a time to go, are you kidding me? How could you even ask for that right now? You're facing charges for an almost escape again and inciting a riot within a prison.
Right.
Are you kidding? I mean, if just search it around July of 2024, Mike Durfee State Prison.
Also, you guys, we're not making it about race either. That's not what we're saying. We're saying it complicates things because he has tribal affiliations and there's a whole other process with that. That's what we're talking about. Nothing negative whatsoever in any way. It just adds another layer of chaos and confusion or complication to what he is trying to use for his defense and as leverage to get out. It's not about Native Americans at all. So that's not what we're saying. Sorry.
No, it's his family and the tribal members that they've literally behind the veil threatened that they're going to bring federal action against the parole board if they don't give him a chance. Well, he's only had one chance at the full parole board in all this time. There's a reason why. Look at the way they act.
He also escaped after let me just shut up because
but
he's used everything. He has used every single thing, and it's just the last ditch, like we're gonna do anything and everything to get this man out. It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, they're sovereign like nations, so
thank you, Leon 1010. It's very sweet. Thank you, Granny's watching. Thank you. I think that the best thing that I can ask, and I feel bad about even asking because I don't want my trauma to be left on everybody's door. But I do want it to write down, and I want to be more focused this time going into this, knowing what their tactic is and feeling comfortable in why they may have made this decision to give him one more chance. I was hoping that I could take the time to, when I get my poop in a group, probably not until like February 3rd or 4th, bring my letter to you on your channel and everybody who feels comfortable participating. I'd like some input about what you take away from what I've written. Okay. If anybody's open to that.
100%. Yep. They asked if we could do a mass mailing to the parole board. We did that in AM's situation, which was
you can. However, I will tell you that being a Midwesterner, we're kind of weird. I think that's kind of a given. We live in negative 30-degree weather and don't move. But we, yeah, you got out. You lucked out.
I got out. I left. I left you.
Thank you, Cantonio.
Yeah, we're here always. You know that.
Yeah. You can, but I don't know that they will observe anything from outside of the area or outside of the case. Because again, this federal tribal guy who happens to be this idiot's brother, made it very clear that they didn't even think that the other victim should have participated when she did, because that's not part of his conviction. Yes, it is. Being a habitual offender leaves you open for every crime you've ever committed.
Yeah.
And I have reached out to the original officers in my case.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Okay.
I haven't heard anything back yet. But he went so far as to give
that's good.
press release to the Sun Tribunal or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And he said that the only reason I reported the rape at all was because I got caught speeding.
Bullshit.
I was never caught speeding, number one. Number two, I know the rookie officer who pulled me over will tell you flat out. She was driving in my lane and flashing her lights at me and laying on the horn until I pulled over.
Yeah, you were flagging him down.
Yeah.
It's like that, and that's what I'm saying is media, half media twist shit. And then the other article that was written was incredibly done, but you know that, like, ooh, fuck, I hate people.
So yeah, so I oh, crafty girl. That's so sweet. Thank you. Yes, we're open to a mass writing, but I honestly would rather save that in case I can get it overturned.
In case we are in the same position we were with Am. Okay.
Right. Where I can get a review. And I do know that our current governor in South Dakota is a conservatist.
Yes, she is.
And that helps me.
Yeah, should.
So a flood of letters from all over, 100 and some odd letters coming to her all at once saying, are you kidding? You're going to let this guy go? At that point, I think it would be more effective than it would be for the parole board.
I do too. Yeah.
Because the parole board, they're going to look at all those letters and go, I'm giving up my weekend to do this for one case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they would be more apt to brush it aside.
We've taken on them. We might as well take on Kristi Noem too. I mean, you know how I feel about both of them. Don't like either one of them, but we can use these for our advantage.
The nice thing is that she's been in some hot water recently. So this would be a good way to get her graces back with community.
Yeah. Their governor's Kristi Noem.
Yeah.
She's been in a lot of hot water for, yeah. But we might be able to use that to our advantage if comes the time, which hopefully we don't have to, but.
Hi, Duchess. Thank you. Kennedy, I still have contact with my prosecutor.
Yeah.
He actually called me. I can't look on my phone right now, but like 3 or 4 days ago, we talked. There's nothing they can do. All he says is, I remember how strong you were in court. You're going to be okay. They're not going to let him out. Just go and talk from your heart like you always do.
This is what people don't realize is once the prosecutor is done prosecuting these cases, they do not see these through. They're on to
the next big case.
They're on to the next one. There is no true, really, like victims advocacy groups, yes, but there is not.
They'll only stay involved as long as your case is active, FYI. Yeah. Then they pass you off to a therapist. Now they pass you off to a state certified trauma therapist. But I don't have access to any of that. It's been 33 years. I don't. And who would have thought in my 50s, this is what I would be doing with my time? I thought I was going to be able to, I've got an upper level job. I'm financially secure. I rescue cats from Egypt and Kuwait and take care of them until the soldiers are off active duty. And then they go home to them. I mean, I do all these great things, you know, that I'm good with. Spent time with my neighbor who was widowed for 4 years. Go over and have coffee with him and make sure his house didn't need to be vacuumed or he wanted breakfast or lunch. You know, this is my life. And to add this back into my life in my 50s is just exhausting. And when you're working 90 hours a week and you take the day of the hearing off and that's it, and you're trying to work waiting for an answer. And I'm on a highway most of the time. I got to be alert.
In my stomping grounds.
I won't be this year.
I know. I miss it. I'm going to miss the pictures.
85 is done.
Thank God.
Yeah, no, everybody's, trust me, some of them farmers were not happy about us still being there, but yeah, it's done. But you know, it's It's not what I thought I'd be doing.
No, you shouldn't have to be. This shouldn't have to be. But this is the reality that so many people don't realize is happening in our systems. Like the re-victimization. Chapt and Am are two faces that you guys can recognize because you know them. You are in chats with them. You see them around. These are two women that have been re-victimized by the judicial system. Am's offender, and this is probably adds anxiety to you too, because we did a mass mailing. We reached out and got the governor's attention of California.
And they still let him out.
They still let him out. Chapt and I both spoke at the parole hearing, and they didn't even. Their decision was made before we went in there, which was crazy. And to hear
On every case, they weren't gonna flip anything.
Am's got it laid out so we can show that.
Oh, good.
Us talking, because if you guys could only hear like the pain of the victims' families, you know, and it's twofold. The offenders' families are usually there too. They didn't get to choose that their family member was an offender a lot of times either, but
well, and sometimes the media will go after their family members.
Yeah.
Now, in my case, that might be warranted, but not every case is my case. Right. I've seen mothers who have lost their daughters and they hug the other mother of the perpetrator because they can feel that they're both losing their kids. You know, I don't have that solidarity in my case, but there are cases like that. So for the media to go after the moms and dads of a perpetrator is ridiculous. We are all at some point responsible for our own actions, you know, and one sec. Thank you, Vanessa Bowers. I am so sorry, honey. I'm glad it helped you. Well, there's that. Thank you. Thank you. Row, all my love, sweetheart. I listened to the Sebastian case and I see what Betty Ding Dong's doing. Thank you, Duchess. And I cringe and I cry. That family should never been attacked the way they have been. And I feel like, is this how my story would have been? Because I was so open to going public.
I think
yeah, I think, what would my case have looked like if we had had internet?
Social media, yeah. Yep. It's scary.
Oh my God. When he was out on the run, do you know that some people there would have been even more people helping him to stay on the run just because they didn't like my demeanor or what I did for a living or whatever changed. Yeah. And there is no fucking way that I would have gotten through this. No way. And I never would have gone public. Never would have. And in fact, I think every victim and victim's family, what needs to happen is there needs to be a law that you do not have to identify them, especially in a case with a minor.
Yeah.
You do not identify the parents. You do not identify the minor, period. You put a picture out. If you see this kid, it's imperative that you call blah, blah, blah. They are an endangered runaway. They are an endangered victim, whatever. But you do not use names. That's what I want to see. I honestly want to see that if there is a case with a minor in it, whether they are the perpetrator or the victim, them and their families absolutely do not get named until that case is solved.
I've got so many feelings on all that. I'm going to get into that later tonight about some of my feelings on some of this crap that's going on in that story in itself. But I think about it all the time because people are so tunnel visioned on what is happening to victims. I can go look at the Danny Masterson trial, for instance. People know all about Danny Masterson. They don't know shit about the victims.
I couldn't even tell you their names.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them are identified as Jane Does, which is fine. But in any case, any high profile social media case, people know the offender, but they don't know shit about the fucking victims. They don't know a damn thing. And if they do, they're re-victimized. They're cut down. Well, what did you do? What were you doing? What were you wearing? Fuck you, people.
Yep. Like, what side of town did you live on? Do you have a past?
Why were you there? What did you do? Like constantly, like this, the re-victimization of victims is so more widespread than people realize. It's the court systems, the media, social media, your neighbors, the local, like once it starts, and these are situations, Chapt didn't ask to be brutally raped years ago. She didn't ask to have her life flipped upside down and deal with all the trauma that was going to come. She didn't ask for any of that shit. Not any of it. She was preyed upon by her habitual offender. And now, all these years later, she's still having to face the same shit. A judge ruled. And yeah, this is why the justice system, people are like, the justice system doesn't always get it right. They let
It's like,
Am's
why sentence someone? Well, yeah, why sentence someone to 100+ years if you don't intend to keep them there? Oh, well, it's based on the fact that they spend 40 years, or it's based on the fact that they spend 30 or what. No, just give them a damn sentence, and that's what they write out. They made the choice to screw with my life, and I don't get any reprieve ever. Right. Until the day I take my last breath, I live with the scars, the trauma. It affects me in some way. Even if I had the best trauma therapist in the world this entire time, I will still be living with scars until the day I die. Yeah. Nobody's giving me money for medical help for the shit I go through because of it.
No.
Nobody's doing that.
That's Chapt. You're supposed to be healed, don't you know?
Yeah.
Get over it.
Ava, I agree. Ava Hackshaw, I agree. I absolutely agree. And Vanessa Bowers, thank you very much. That's very sweet. Thank you.
Sorry, you can tell we're frustrated and just like, fuck this.
Yeah, I'm so fucking cranky.
No, you're not. Oh, I thought you said you're fucking cranky. I was like, what? You were talking to cranky.
Thank you, Eastern Girls Crafting. Thank you. Yes, touches it does. There's so many things that have to change. And, you know, I can only try to change the things that are affecting me right now because I am very self-absorbed. I mean, I haven't even dated in over 10 years. With the medical shit that changed as I got older, and it just brings up old wounds, and I just can't. It's just not. I'm happy being a chubby old cat lady. You know, but losing both my neighbors that's been tough. Well, yeah, I've lived in the same house for 7 years, and
you had trust with them. You had built yeah.
And I worry about who's going to move in next door, and and it's just shut up, just so much. But I do want to see what the chat, if you guys don't mind responding, yes or no in the chat for me, if you guys are interested in hearing what I'm taking to the parole board hearing and helping me do a little review.
We actually have some amazing advocates in here that don't publicly talk, as you know, that don't publicly identify themselves, but I know for a fact that there's people in here. What she's asking is, before the next hearing, she's actually going to write out what she's going to say, and she would like to use us as like a test group to come and bounce her statement off of that she's going to be giving the parole board. If you would be interested in sitting through that with us and giving her some feedback, she would appreciate that. So yes, it's a resounding yes. So whether it's me and a couple of, I don't care, we're doing it. So
okay,
we're here for you.
Vanessa, you and I'll have to start swapping pictures. For a while I had this big Kuwait cat, and if you go on Facebook Reels, you can actually see him. Search Kuwait cat, Kuwait kitty Oliver. You'll see him. But when I first got him as a soldier intake, I had this tiny little kitten that was less than 7 months old, and he was partially paralyzed and ended up becoming a tripod later. And I'll tell you what, that Kuwait cat wouldn't let me near him, not even to feed him, but he loved that kitten. And I got pictures of them playing, and I got pictures of the Kuwait kitty taking care of the little kitty. I mean, it's just, I'm a cat person. I'm allergic to dogs. So, but I like dogs. I pet one. Oh, I think it was 4 years ago. And I hadn't had my cortisol, my Kenalog and cortisol done.
Yeah.
I ended up in the ER for 6 hours.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
He was a husky. He was beautiful. I couldn't help it.
I couldn't resist. Yeah, and then I think we do that for the upcoming, and then depending on the outcome of that, we'll do a mass mailing if need to, and do exactly what we did before. And I think in the meantime too, I think Am would be willing to come on and share the parole board, like, so people know, because a lot of people have never been through. That was my first time. I told you both that was like
the 13 panel of people that get to ask him and you questions. Oh, that was the other thing. The parole board member had the balls to ask me where I live in the hearing.
With him there, of course. Fucking seriously.
When I got off of the hearing, I immediately called the DOC and called the lady that sends out my notifications from Saban. And I bitched to her for about 10 minutes.
Well, yeah.
Who the fuck does this guy think he is? And is he that stupid? What is he even doing on a parole board if he doesn't know that you don't ask the victim to identify personal things when you just listen to his wife not only bash her, but threaten her? And you want me to identify where I live and how old I am now? Fuck you. And I didn't tell him fuck you, but I looked at him and I said, you've got to be kidding.
Yeah. That's one thing too. People don't realize that parole board members, like what their jobs usually are, who they are, why they're brought in. A lot of them have zero victims advocacy training, zero training with victim-centered anything. A lot of them are like, it is absolutely astounding to watch how this goes. Like it's something I wouldn't wish on anybody.
No. Lip lock no more. No, you're not the only crazy cat collector. I am too. I just collect from overseas for limited amounts of time. Oh. All right. Well,
I think that would be a good reminder though, too. Like maybe the three of us can do another one. Except you guys, the two of you together make me just waterworks. So I don't know if we can do that. You two are fine. And I'm sitting here like, okay, this is not like, how is this happening here? But yeah.
Her and I have conversations, hit and miss, I'd say every 2 weeks. And it's so funny because I'm like, how you doing? Yeah. Well, I'm okay. No, really, how you doing?
You both know you're both like, I'm okay. I'm doing good.
I'm good. I'm hanging on. I'm upside down.
Today, not so great. Tomorrow, fine.
Well, thank you guys for listening and allowing me to share and vent. And
thank you for coming here. And we will, as soon as you're ready, just like we did today.
Yeah, I have some DOT certifications I have to do for my job.
I'll let you go so you can.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I just I do have to focus on some of that. There's a lot of regulations that I have to know.
It's a good distraction.
It's
a good distraction for you too.
And I may have to, make a couple of calls down south or something.
I know. I'll tell you. I'll text you about that because like ooh. So
yeah, that's the joy of being a traveling idiot is you get some awesome networks going.
Well, I'll get some mini cow videos for you. I'll make him send me some for you so I can distract you with those too.
Perfect. That little black and white one. Oh, he's a doll.
Isn't she? She's so cute. I keep
Thank you, Terry Dean. That is so sweet. Thank you.
This will be the fourth truck you. This will be the fourth. The upcoming, it will be the fourth in a year. Under 10 months, actually. Around 10 months.
Since April. April 16th was the first one. That was the standard every 8 months. They split decisioned it. And 30 days later, we went back for a second time and they denied him parole 3 days after the hearing. My next 8-month was January 6th. And they said, we're going to let him go to the 13 panel, which is where they say, yeah, we're going to let you out or no. So that'll be the fourth one since the middle of April of 2024.
And then if they, whatever, depending on the decision on that day, then we might go into high gear with a mass mailing campaign.
Yes.
Getting attached to the, this is where right now we're just kind of on the edge of our seats. But let me tell you first and foremost, the Islanders showed up and showed out last time. And we know what we're doing when we mass mail governors. So we will keep you updated on where things go and what she needs from us. And then we will rally and be right there. So TikTok might be down. I used that as a way to harass Newsom last time, but I'll find another way.
I saw that. I remember seeing
in Nome State. So
there you go.
I know exactly
which highways and back roads to take.
I know exactly how to get her attention. Trust and believe. I'm like, I got this one.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. You guys have a great day. And thank you again for showing me love and support. I appreciate it.
You are very loved. You are very strong.
Bye.
I'll talk to you in a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, she booted herself. Okay. You guys keep Chapt in your thoughts. Please, if you're the praying type and would like to pray for her too, please do that. She just needs all of our love and support right now. What's been going on is a lot. She is another one of the strongest women I know, but we will keep you guys updated on what's going on. I've shared the link in here. So those of you, I'm shutting this off now. Those of you that it's windy out here. Those of you that want to watch her previous story, I highly encourage you to do so. Emily, abso-freaking-lutely. If necessary, yep, that's what we did with Newsom too. We were tagging Newsom and all of this stuff on X. We mass tagged, mass emailed if we get to that point, which I'm hoping we don't. I'm hoping the 13 panel will say, no, he was sentenced to this. He deserves to be behind bars. But in the meantime, I hope we don't have to do that. But I also think it's important. And if Am might be here this weekend, actually. So depending on what her schedule looks like and her and Chapt, we'll figure something out. But I think it might be important to show you guys kind of some of the back side of how these things actually go for victims. It's a lot. It's a lot if you've never seen what they actually are being put through. And these are just two of many faces that this is being done to. And Am's, like when they did I don't even want to talk about it. It makes me so mad. They released every one of them. So yes, I can do it again, baby. Here. But please keep her in your thoughts and prayers. Here's the previous live stream we did on it. And you guys can get some more information on the actual, like what happened, when it was, she went into a lot of detail previously about it. So there's a whole playlist of stuff with both of their things, and hers is in there too. So, all right, you guys, I'm going to end this one out and I will be back this evening. We will do part 7.5 with a rant because I've got a lot of shit to say. A lot of shit to say to a lot of people. And after taking a couple days, there's just a lot. I think you could see some of our frustration here, even, touching on this with the victimization of victims and re-victimization. So I will see you guys this evening. I'm not sure exactly what time yet, but it'll probably be a couple hours and I will be back. It might be sooner than that. So I will pop on after I check on my lady. So see you guys soon. Thank you once again for everybody being here and listening. Just please keep Chapt in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you.